When we talk about acquisitive crime, what we mean is crime that is linked directly to the illegal use of drugs, and that may be the supply of the drugs, that may be the actual dealers dealing to local people, or that may be the individuals themselves who have a drug habit and need to feed that habit by committing crime. Again, it's well documented that serious drug users who use Class A drugs and Class B drugs may need to acquire several £100s a week to feed that habit. And often that will come from crime. And when we talk about crime, we talk about breaking into people's houses, we talk about robberies where people rob people for their phones, for example, which is a growing trend, or rob people for cash, or where people shoplift to commit crime. And then obviously you've got other crime which isn't acquisitive, that's associated with the misuse of drugs, like assault, like disorderly behaviour, etc., etc.
The reason why I was in prison was for importation of a Class A controlled drug, crack cocaine and cocaine. I got involved with some friends who were busy doing the same form of thing. At the time it seemed very exciting to travel the world and meet different people, see different cultures, see how things were manufactured and so forth, plus for financial gain. It all came to an end when I went to prison. Got a nice little stretch, went inside, done my porridge, as they say, and learnt quite a lot, that they're not really there for you. I mean, they're there while you're there helping them make money, but other than that, there is no real love or family togetherness.
I've been to prison. I did 2 years. Sorry, I did 1 year of a 2-year sentence for intention to supply drugs. And a lot of people, when they meet me and they find that out, they're kind of surprised. I had quite a privileged upbringing. My mother and father, they came here in the Windward Rush, early 1960s. They worked hard, they sent me to private school. I had normal upbringing up to the age of 11, but after 11, I went to a fee-paying school.
The law in relation to drugs is set by the government of the day, and it's the police's responsibility to enforce those laws. Now, there are different classes of drugs which are classed A, Class B and Class C drugs, and that relates to the seriousness of the drug as seen by the government of the day. Class A drugs are drugs such as heroin and cocaine. Class B drugs are drugs such as cannabis and some of the more serious mood-enhancing drugs, and Class C drugs are what is generally termed as softer drugs, such as amphetamines and what again can be called recreation drugs. The penalties for drug offences are quite serious, as you would expect, and again the police would tend to, but not exclusively, target drugs dealers, and those people who deal in drugs can expect substantial offences if convicted at a court. For instance, possession of Class A drugs, you're talking about 10 years sentences. For Class B, 7 or 5 years. And Class D drugs, you're talking about a jail sentence or a fine.
The signs to look out for are within 3 main areas. One is there drug paraphernalia around? By that I mean needles, syringes. Is there foil that's been blackened by smoke? Spoons that have been blackened? You know, are there cigarette papers around? All of that kind of thing, is that around? Secondly, the behaviour of the young person. Mood swings, poor appetite, or, you know, they're actually munching a lot. What's their sleeping pattern like? Are they changing their friends? What's their network like? Is there a deterioration in their schoolwork? Are they truanting? There's certain patterns that tend to happen. The other thing is, how are they looking? Are they losing weight? Are they looking pale? Are they losing interest in their appearance? So there is a range of signs, and if you want to call them signs and symptoms, that people can look out for.
Too many times parents blame the problems that their particular child is experiencing on the friend, their child's friend. And what they too often forget is that that friend is also a young person who is in the community, who isn't receiving the support necessary in order for them to do whatever needs to be done. So instead of blaming someone other than their child, what they should be seeking to do is link with the parents of their child's friend. All too often, it's seen as a family unit type issue, which is associated with shame and as a result should be hidden. When we say African Caribbean communities, we can see how the absence of any shared cultural belief system has accelerated the rate at which and increased the degree to which drugs has been able to adversely impact on that community.
When parents find out that their children are taking drugs, they sometimes send them back home to deal with this addiction.
The response of parents to send their children back home to keep them out of danger is a natural one. But by sending young people back home, they actually can have access to other drugs back home, but also keeping them here and learning with them and supporting them and helping them access into services can often have a greater success.
From what I've seen, in my experience with people who have been sent back, repatriated, however you want, whatever term you want to use, those who have come back, some have come back with an addiction, some haven't. But unfortunately, it's always the ones who have, who still carry the can and not recognise the work of the good ones. The ones who come back and who have used are in a far worse state than when they went.